Football Manager is just not fun anymore. Maybe it's a product of the fact that there hasn't been a Football Manager to come out or a serious update to the gameplay since November of 2023. You know, people like me have had all the time to figure out all of the different things to do to be able to win more and more consistently. I mean, there's been a Football Manager World Cup on the way that the game is built right now, you know, to find the best tactics, the best corners and everything. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that's looking at schedules that look like this. You get to a certain point where your saves are played out, and even if you're not using perfect tactics and perfect corners or whatever, you're just in that mode because it's been out for so long and in the same situation for so long that you have that itch. You want to play Football Manager, but you just can't actually fire up Football Manager and have a good time. Hello, I'm Football Manager Man, and I am here to solve your problems. Just took me a little while to get through the door. Sorry. And I'm Zealandism. Get the hell out of here. This isn't your time. Read the schedule, for God's sakes. It's on the door. Now listen to me carefully. What you need to do is remember why you like playing the game. Wonder Kids? I like Wonder Kids. Yes, that. And all of the other things that make the game fun for you. You know what, Football Manager Man? You're right. I'm very surprised because I'm pretty sure you just broke into my apartment. Nice hair, though. Now, as we dive into all of these different ways to get you re-addicted to Football Manager, I would like to point out this little-known loophole that you see in the menu here called the "you can go outside" loophole. I realize most of you won't take advantage of that, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. But Football Manager really should have different fun ideas and scenarios loaded into the game already, but I'm going to give those to you, courtesy of Football Manager Man, to make sure that you don't have to go outside. You can, for example, simulate a save to January and take over the last place team in your favorite league. Just a little vacationing with an unemployed manager and a little use of the editor to get you the job at said team. You can play with them as long as you want, but the idea is that maybe you just do the January transfer window and play it out to the end of the season. Yes, that sounds like something that could be fun. Football Manager. Ooh. Thanks. You could do a one World Cup run like the video games of old. All you have to do is get current international players from every continent in your database selection screen, and then you don't have to load in a particularly large database. You just hit start from there, pick your national team, and you'll have a database that moves very quickly all the way through the World Cup. You can play your way through qualifying, and this will work for any international competition. So let's say you wanted to play the Euros, let's say you wanted to play through AFCON, try and win them with different teams. This can keep you occupied for a very long time, and it has the added bonus of being something you won't be able to play in the next Football Manager, at least as far as we understand it, they were going to remove international play. There are, of course, flaws in international play, but if you're playing just one cycle, they're not nearly as noticeable. So go take a crack at getting Vietnam into the World Cup, why don't you? It's a weird idea. You know, nobody really plays international management on Football Manager. You're kind of talking to nobody here. This was your idea. Shut up. Yeah, there's also the Director of Football challenge, where you just pick a preset tactic, simulate or vacation through all the matches, and just manage the signing of the players. So here we go, a little control possession, 4-3-3, something basic, and then I'm just signing the players. My brilliant tactical knowledge plays absolutely no part. No way. Yes way. But that's kind of a problem, though, because even though we've come up with a couple of new challenges to maybe make Football Manager exciting again, there's still all of the tactics that we know work really well. There's the freaking corner tactic that I made a video about that it's kind of ruins the game a little bit if you let it. It's overpowered, and I don't know if that part of the game can be fun anymore. Fear not, for there are ways to bring the fun and tactics back. I mean, I guess there's the option to just ban it. Just prevent yourself from using particular tactics or things that are mild variations of those particular tactics. In particular, go into your corner tactic and just don't use anything but the game's basic corner tactic that it generates for you. That's going to give you a normal amount of goals off set pieces, and while we would love to live in a world where there's constantly an ebb and flow, there's obviously a best corner tactic or a best couple of corner tactics in FM this year, so just letting the game do it itself is going to help you get a more authentic experience that doesn't feel gimmicky, where one of your center backs is scoring 30 goals a season. Now, if you want that corner tactic, just search corner tactic on this channel. But if you're here, you probably don't. Set yourself a challenge of using a particular type of tactic positionally that you have to win with. Let's say you have to win with a 5 at the back, maybe with wingbacks or without. Let's say you have to win with a 2-striker formation. You have to have 2 strikers on the field at all times. You have to have 3 strikers on the field at all times. Set yourself a weight around the ankle that allows you to be incredibly creative with the other parts of your tactic. But what if you can't resist switching back to whatever you were doing? Then 1, you might want to seek help. But 2, use presets. And that's not as boring as it sounds. If you use preset tactics, you do still have a lot of options for tactics to choose, so you can still be very strategic about when you use those presets and with what players. But it keeps you from throwing in a bunch of player instructions or throwing in a bunch of things that you've seen online that happen to work that end up making the game a lot less fun for you to play. Setting that restriction is a very simple one that allows you to be creative but still have fun. You can obviously set rules to that as well, like literally don't hit gegenpress. Anything else is fine. But you know, even if I'm able to come up with a situation where I've made tactics more fun, my player acquisition is just too good. I've played the game for 40 billion hours, and I just know where all of the good players are buried, the real ones and the new gens. So eventually, over the first couple of years of a save, I'm just gonna end up with all the best players that I could possibly get, and the game's not fun that way. Of course, there's a solution to that too. This would be a terrible video if there wasn't. What, are we just gonna stop here? Pay attention, Zealand. It's a very good point. It does feel like we're still in the middle of the video. There's of course the more familiar challenges where you limit your recruitment to a particular area that can be as large as a continent and as small as a city, like Paris, for example. Or you can just limit your recruitment entirely by playing a youth-only challenge, where the only players you can use are the ones that come in through your youth academy, which causes you to adapt and keeps you, of course, from being able to go out and sign all of the best players. The knock-on effect of these challenging recruitment challenges is that you have to adapt your tactics pretty wildly in order to fit the players that are available to you. But you can also do the inverse of something we talked about before. You can go to staff responsibilities, transfers, and contracts, and as weird as it feels, you can give away all the transfer and contract powers to different members of your staff. The director of football, the general manager. If you don't even have those guys, you have an assistant coach, you can give it to them. And this actually does work, right? This keeps you from being involved in transfers, so you just play with the players that you have. And this creates the same limiting factors as the previous couple of challenges, while also adding in the fun surprise aspect of players being signed during transfer windows or sold that you then have to deal with. But there's another option that might sound the most appealing for people that struggle to enjoy the game because their recruiting is too good. Stop scouting. And by that I mean manually scouting. I'm talking no Wonder Kid Top 50, no youth national teams, no manual scouting anywhere. You can only sign players that come in through your scouting reports. And this keeps your signing agency, so you still get the feeling of finding a really talented player and signing them, making the big decision to make that move. But it also ties both hands behind your back so that you can't go out and, well, sign too many of those great players. Because let's be honest, the players that are coming in through this scouting center here that your scouts are presenting to you are not exactly the cream of the crop at all times. So you're gonna have to utilize your short lists, take note of the guys that are coming in through the scouting center, and then try and build the best team that you can. This is obviously particularly challenging the lower down in the leagues you go, but no more trial farming, no more player search scouring. It's all about who your scouts bring in, and it's a far more realistic experience. But what if you just can't resist? Then manage in a really restrictive league. Go to a place like Indonesia or South Korea as the example here, which you can have 5 foreign non-Asian players on your team total, which means, you know, you have to have everybody but 6 players. You can have one like Asian only spot that has to be South Korean. This constricts your player pool so dramatically that you can't do a lot of the things that you're normally used to doing when it comes to high-powered player recruitment, and you have to play the game in a different way. You can also do this in Australia or MLS, where there are so many obscure rules and different methods of player recruitment that hamstring you from being able to sign players in the traditional way. It creates a completely different challenge that allows you to still use your brain to try and go make those big signings, but doesn't allow you to completely ruin the game for yourself with those tremendous transfer skills that you have. You know, but Football Manager, man, You've been so right so far. But what happens if I'm just too good at all of this? And no matter which one of these challenges I take on, my tactical knowledge, my transfer knowledge, it's just too good. And I end up not having fun anyways. Am I just sad then? You foolish child. I would never let you be sad. For this is where the fun well and truly begins. Check out these saves. These are for the real turbo hardos, of which I would be in that category. These are the challenges. A journeyman race. Set yourself a goal, a particular trophy, whether it be a domestic title like winning Serie A or the Champions League of any continent, like I have to win Copa Libertadores. Start in a journeyman. No coaching badges or playing experience. You just make the worst manager that you can. How quickly can you win that trophy? You can compete against yourself. You can do it once, and then if you love the feeling of that competition and trying to climb and be aggressive and getting there as quickly as possible, you can learn from that and then try to do it faster. This is Football Manager speed running in a journeyman sense, but there are more ways to do it. There's of course things like the Pentagon or the Hexagon challenge, where you try to win all 5 or all 6 Champions Leagues, and you can try to do that as quickly as possible. Or you can do a promotion climber. Of course, the biggest one is in England. You can try and go from the 6th division to winning the Prem and see how quickly you possibly can do that, exhausting every possible resource to get that club to a Premier League title as quickly as possible. You can do it in France, from the 4th division in Germany, from the 3rd division. If you wanted to play it in a bit of a faster version, how quickly can you do it? This is the way to scratch your competitive itch in Football Manager more than anything else. But what if I just don't want to compete? I'm tired of competing. I just want to have fun, you know? Where is he? Is usually when he appears when I ask a question. Oh, sorry. I was in the bathroom. Yes, there are fun options as well, like these. Oh, the stupid fun save ideas. True. A personal favorite and a classic. You can only sign players for one position, and you have to find a way to win a trophy. May it be midfielders, center backs, fullbacks, whatever works. They have to all be able to play that one position on the field. You build an entire team out of them in the transfer market, use the editor to make sure nobody gets upset, because that's definitely going to happen, and then have fun. It's a complete mess, a complete disaster, until it's beautiful. There's also one that was recommended to me one time that you can have a completely normal team. You just have to hide an outfield goalkeeper somewhere in that team. You design a tactic where you're playing a goalkeeper in an outfield position and they're just well disguised. Shh. Nobody will ever know. No one will know. You can go back to the international management we were talking about, but with one exception. You always have to call up the worst player in the national team pool and play them. What are you doing here? Every single time. The bottom-rated player in the national team pool needs to be in your national team starting 11. Can you then still win the World Cup with England or Brazil or Germany? You can also mix this up, and if you want to really live with the spice of life, you could go with the worst goalkeeper in the international pool. That, at the very least, is going to create some hilarious situations where your goalkeeper might not be paying attention. I'm not looking at anyone. There's, of course, the idea that you could only sign players that have ripened, that have fermented long enough. Players 30 and up. A completely revolutionary transfer policy where you build a team of geriatrics and attempt to actually win something, putting all of your skills to the test in a nearly impossible shambles. Not to mention, you will have exactly 0 resale value for everybody. But on the flip side of it, you could also be forced to get rid of every player when they turn 20. The moment they turn 20, you cannot play them again. Can you win something like that? You can, of course, set height limits to your transfer strategy. You can only sign people at your height or below, or your height or above, or under 6 feet tall or over 6 feet tall. You can set speed limits. Let's say you try to win the Premier League with a team that has nobody over 10 pace. And even if you suck, it's really funny to watch your team move like they're in slow motion. This is what 12 pace looks like. But then perhaps my personal favorite, how quickly can you destroy your least favorite club? Now there's a caveat to this. You got to make sure you make it challenging. You have to use one of these preset tactics. You cannot just create a disaster tactic that allows the team to lose right away. You have to use the preset tactic, right? And you cannot just suddenly bench every single member of the first team for everybody that's in the U19s, right? You have to sell off and sign new guys for the first team that sink that team as quickly as possible. Obviously, you can come up with your own set of rules, but I think that set of rules creates the best challenge for trying to destroy a team quickly. Take Manchester City and try to see how quickly you can get them relegated to the Vanarama National League. If you're a Barca fan, how quickly can you get Real Madrid yeeted out of the league if you just start messing up everything, ruining every team talk, saying every terrible thing to every player, transfer listing everyone, unleashing wrath and chaos? You want these dynamics to be so far negative. You want this issues section to be so chock full of players that you're unstoppable. Of course, you'll need the editor and you'll need to make yourself unfireable, because if you don't, you'll get fired nearly right away. But once you have that, you're good to go. Ruin away. But you know what? I'm feeling better. There are still things to do on FM. Why is that? Football Manager man? He's always late. I'm here. At least I got here faster than the new game. Had to get my robes on. Now, the point here is Football Manager is a sandbox game. Now, Zealand has been getting a lot of messages about how FM's not as fun anymore and how no new game release is making them not want to play it, or they want to play it and they don't know what to play within it. Well, Football Manager, you choose your own adventure. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's Minecraft for sports. So hopefully, all you needed is one of these ideas in this video to jog your own idea that will allow you to have fun again. And if you ever need me, just call. I'll be there eventually. And if I'm not, Zealand's got that video about the corner tactic right there for you. So maybe you're struggling in Football Manager and you just watched this video because of my sexy cape or something. Maybe you wanted to check that out instead. Or maybe you just want to know why you keep losing to your friend on corners, because it's probably that. Yeah.